Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back with a new Viking Orations. Got another review for you today, and this time I'm going to be talking to you about the debut full-length album from the band Mortal Wound, entitled The Anus of the World, out now, at least on CD anyway, through Dark Descent Records. And if you're not familiar with Mortal Wound, they are a death metal band from Los Angeles, California. Been around since 2018, featuring Matthias Hoffmeister on the bass, Devlin Baldwin on the drums, Peter King on guitar, and Sam Shriver handling guitar and vocals. As I said, this is their debut full-length album. It is 11 tracks and literally 1 second under 40 minutes in length. And, discovering these guys with their 2018 demo, Forms of Unreasoning Fear. This was a promo I was very excited to see hit my inbox, and after spending some time with it on my recent vacation, I can say these guys have definitely crafted a overall pretty solid debut offering. The bass is just super thick on here, and while it's not too high up in the mix, it's very easily heard throughout the whole thing and really adds some heft to these songs. I love the drum production, especially the kicks on here. It doesn't really get overly flashy or anything, but he does provide lots of cool pattern rolls and fills, and some absolutely killer blast beats and double bass. The thrashy old school death metal style guitars though really drive this album, with a little bit of a Cannibal Corpse and even some deicide feel to some of the riffs at times. They're mid to fast paced, though they love to slow things down for these slow, heavy chug sections to go with the plethora of headbangable grooves you're going to find all over this thing. Absolutely killer solos, some of which actually make great use of the whammy bar, I have to say. And Sam's vocals are just absolutely sick on this album. They're just these powerful lower register growls that have a bit of a Joe Tychek from he used to be in Broken Hope, Rest in Power vibe to them. He's not quite as low as Joe could go, but he was pretty damn close, I have to say. Now, I gotta say though, track number 2 on here, Tunnel Rat, really takes you by surprise the first time you hear it, because it has this very like old school country style opening, and you're just looking at it like, what the fuck am I listening to? And then finally it just goes right into what you're used to hearing and just pummels you for the rest of the song. Now, one thing about this band is that the band loves to use samples, whether they be funny or dark in nature, as either opening a track or closing a track, or sometimes it's even the song itself is just a mishmash of samples a lot of times, or just a samples from an entire, one particular movie, such as track number 3, The Surf Is Gonna Be Bitchin', or track 5, One Who Kills, One Who Loves. Now, when you get into track 8, The Worm Has Turned For You, this is another example of one of those songs that it's mainly just samples for the entire track, though this one actually has like this slow picked riff underneath of it that kind of gives off a bit of a slightly creepy vibe to the entire track. And these samples can, as I said, either be from the same source, whether it be a TV show or a movie, or maybe different films and shows that they kind of mishmash together because they kind of have a similar theme going to them, so they just kind of make an entire track out of it or whatever. And while that is cool, and these samples are cool, because I love Mortician, and everybody knows one of the big things about listening to Mortician is the samples. And here I like the samples and everything, but like I said, while they're cool, at times they kind of feel unnecessary and more like space fillers, especially the ones where it's just, that's all the track is just a sample or a bunch of samples put together. It seemed unnecessary to me. But overall, I definitely enjoyed listening to this album. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it's almost, 40 minutes of just heavy, brutal death metal that'll leave you in a heap. Like I said, some of the purely sample tracks, if honestly not all of them, I think could have just been trimmed off, as again, they felt like space filler to me to kind of make the album a little bit longer, and didn't really add anything to the overall experience of listening to the album. If you'd have taken those out, I think cut down the runtime a little bit, it would have been a little bit more of a solid album. But still, it's solid, but it could have been a little bit better for you to taken out that little bit of space filler, at least what I feel is space filler. But still, this is definitely worth a listen. It definitely scratches the itch for something heavy to kind of take the edge off when you need it. This gets a solid 8 out of 10 from me. Go check out Mortal Wound. I will be leaving a link down below so you can check this out for yourself. Pick up a copy if you so desire. And yeah, that is going to do it. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal.